a good day to you and welcome to another edition of Citizens Movement Radio News. Today is Wednesday, the 26th of November, 2025. I'm Katie. We're ready to bring you the latest news and updates. Here are today's headlines on Citizens Movement Radio News. Honorable Mlilo concerned about increasing gender-based violence. Zimbabwe needs to reform ZEC and not the constitution, says Timber. Honorable Molokele rallies citizens to oppose the 2030 agenda. Now let's take a look at our stories in detail. As the country is currently observing the 16 days against gender-based violence, GBV, one of the senior leaders in the opposition, Honorable Mlilo, said the increase in cases of girl-child abuse and gender-based violence is deeply concerning. Honorable Mlilo said much needs to be done by all stakeholders, including the government, in making sure rights of the girl-child are protected. Let's hear her speaking.
Good evening, listeners. As we observe the 16 days against gender-based violence, it is very saddening that we are seeing an increase of child abuse and also of gender-based violence, whereby women are getting beaten up by their husbands, especially the married women, and in other cases also you'll find women beating up men, but it's usually the other way around. And also we do find out that there's a lot of child abuse, especially the girl child being abused, maybe in terms of being raped. You'll find that when the girl child is still young, when they don't have a voice, they are always put in a corner whereby most of the time they are raped when they are young, they are beaten up when they are young. They are just they just go through so many gender-based violence. And so this day, the 16 days, they are there to commemorate these happenings, and also to give awareness to women, to young women, to say that you've got a voice as a human being, and you also have got rights to actually go and report whenever you violated, whenever you feel that you're not being comfortable with what is happening in your space. And also when we look at this theme, the theme is end digital violence against all women and girls, and you find that there's so much that is being said in the digital world against women. Women are given names every day, be it on Facebook, be it on WhatsApp, be it on Twitter, and that alone is also gender-based violence, especially to women and girls. Thank you so much.
A senior opposition politician, Senator Jameson Timber, has said Zimbabwe needs to reform her weak institutions like the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission instead of amending the constitution to allow Emmerson Mnangagwa to remain in power. Timber said Zimbabweans, as recently confirmed by the Afrobarometer report, do not trust ZEC with handling of elections and want voter registration to be moved away from the institution. Let's hear Timber speaking.
Fellow Zimbabweans, the latest Afrobarometer findings confirm a hard truth. Our institutions are weak. Only 7.7% of citizens fully trust ZEC, and nearly half want voter registration moved away from it. This is a national cry for reform, not for constitutional manipulation. Yet at the same time, some are pushing for a 2030 term extension. How can the constitution be amended when the institutions meant to protect it are not trusted? Zimbabwe decided in 2013. Term limits stand. We must defend our constitution and reform the institutions that guard it.
The Wange Central Member of Parliament, Honorable Daniel Molokele, has rallied all progressive citizens to oppose the so-called ZANU-PF 2030 agenda, which seeks to extend Emmerson Mnangagwa's term of office beyond 2028. Posting on his social platforms, Honorable Molokele said there is not any justifiable reasons to postpone the 2028 elections. Honorable Molokele is one of the few opposition MPs to openly declare opposition to the 2030 agenda. Meanwhile, political commentator Jefferson Chitando has challenged more and more MPs to come out open in condemning the 2030 agenda. Chitando said MPs, in terms of their oversight role, must ensure that the constitution is not tampered with for partial gains of any individual. Chitando said,
should applaud Honorable Daniel Mlilo on coming out clear that he supports the people's cause to defend the constitution and will not be waived to sing the song Mnangagwa for 2030. This shows a member of parliament who understands the roles of a legislator, a representative of the people. I have always advocated for members of parliament to execute their duties well, in that they should understand that they took the oath to defend the constitution of Zimbabwe on the very day which they were sworn in. So we hope and trust that members of parliament are going to go into their constituencies and ask the people what they really want. They should understand that voting in parliament is not a member of parliament's vote. It is the people's vote, as they are representatives of the people, representatives of the voters, representatives of everyone. So it's important and paramount that members of parliament should adhere to the oversight role and defend the constitution and see to it that this constitution is not tampered with by hungry ZANU-PF looters, Ganandas.
The spokesperson for the opposition, Promise Mkwananzi, has said it is imperative that Zimbabwe be returned to legitimacy and constitutionalism. Mkwananzi said both Emmerson Mnangagwa and his deputy Constantino Chiwenga are not an option for Zimbabwe, as they are the ones who led the country to current crisis. Mkwananzi said Zimbabwe is crying for a civilian and a pro-people president in the mold of Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Mkwananzi said,
yes, we see a situation whereby two leaders who have set a precedent of an unlawful usurpation of power on authority in Zimbabwe, busy competing to outdo each other in terms of consolidating and retaining that power using unconstitutional means. And we are saying that it is high time that Zimbabwe looks to a civilian and constitutional leader who will rule the country through constitutional and lawful means. And that leader can only be Advocate Nelson Chamisa, who has committed himself to constitutionalism, to democracy, and to good governance.
ZANU-PF detector Emmerson Mnangagwa is expected in Parliament tomorrow for 2026 budget presentation. Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe ACHO's President Obed Masaraure said they expect the budget allocation on education to meet requirements of the Dhaka Declaration of at least 20%. Let's hear Masaraure speaking.
2026 budget should focus more on equalizing learning opportunities, delivering services to the people, not only extracting through different forms of taxes. So what we urge the government of Emmerson Mnangagwa to do is, one, to ensure that there is much investment in infrastructure development. We need to bridge the deficit of schools, which is now ballooned to over 3,000 schools, shortage of 3,000. We just need to be deliberate to be bridging that gap. We need to be equipping our schools, delivering libraries, delivering laboratories, among other basics for the schools, particularly those in marginalized communities. But we also need to take care of the educators themselves, ensure that we are deliberate on paying competitive salaries for all civil servants, including the teachers. We also expected the basics like the delivery of sanitary pads to have adequate resources set aside for that. We can't afford to have girls missing school because of period poverty. We are also looking at the issues of food, where some families can't afford food. We need to see the school feeding program being well funded. But more importantly, we need to see the realization of Section 35 of the Constitution, where the state should provide state-funded education. In that regard, this is the only way we can stop the ongoing dropouts that we are witnessing over the years. So we are hopeful that maybe for once the government would drop their neoliberal policy positions and start taxing the rich, those who are extracting our minerals. They should contribute to our education, to our health care. We should have progressive taxation with those who are really taking advantage of our mineral wealth, among other national assets. They should be forced to contribute to the delivery of social services to our people. But the state itself the budget should find ways of ensuring that state departments are capacitated to bring development. We cannot outsource development from the private sector. We need the state to be constructing our roads. We do not need fossils to be constructing our roads. We need to restart state GDF in ensuring that we create jobs and deliver infrastructure using a department of the state. So this goes to different sectors of the economy where the state should be able to participate, and our budget should be able to articulate how the state wants to position itself to participate in the economy, so that they have money to deliver these services that we are demanding. But if they want Tagwire to make money, the VIO to make money at the expense of state capacity, we will always have this perennial problem.
Meanwhile, senior opposition official Comrade Gift Ostalos Siziba said the country should focus on capping illicit financial flows and prioritizing economic development through its mineral wealth, similar to how Norway and the United Arab Emirates have used oil to transform their economies and uplift their citizens. Siziba also emphasized that Zimbabwe's potential to end its debt crisis if it manages its natural resources transparently and strategically. Let's hear him explaining on the Tete-a-Tete show with Ngobizita Mlambo.
If we don't deal with the leakages in the economy, the RBZ had recently showed that we lose 1.5 billion on illicit outflows. You get the point? That is annual. So if we are able to close those leakages,
surely we don't need to borrow anyone. We can do domestic resources like Ethiopia, but building that mega hydro project without borrowing from the IMF. The IMF and the World Bank are not our friends.
And what you also need to know, Brother Mlambo, is that the advantage that Zimbabwe faces is that we have our natural resources.
And minerals.
There was a recent songs that were being sang about the issue of investment. And I want to touch briefly on that.
Yeah.
These Mutapa investment funds and so forth. Our biggest advantage that we have as Zimbabwe is our natural resources.
Yeah, I agree with you.
What we need is stewardship
of those same
on how to govern, how to beneficiate and benefit ordinary Zimbabwean from those mineral resources that are sitting under our land. Look at countries that have developed. If you look at Norway, Norway was worse off than us. But the Norway became better when it discovered oil. One thing, oil. But if you look at what the Norwegians did when they discovered oil, they did not invite tenderpreneurs. They declared that the resources of Norway, which is oil in particular, must benefit first the Norwegian people.
Yes.
Resource nationalization.
Yeah, that's it.
You get the point? This is the same thing with Dubai. This is the same thing with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's true.
Saudi Arabia is now able to buy Cristiano Ronaldo or the best players because they were able to nationalize their only resource, which is oil,
and manage it prudently.
And precisely
deal with poverty, cholera, typhoid, bad roads, lack of clean, seven potable. These smaller problems.
It's a question of stewardship, brother Mlam.
Stone problem.
If we're able to do that with diamond in this country,
oh my God.
In Molokele, where you come from, there was alluvial diamond.
Yes.
Alluvial means it's on the surface.
Yeah, 2006 people.
If you go to Molokele right now, you can't even see anything, even a solar powered robot.
That this is the city
that to say this is the robot that we managed to build on the basis of our diamonds. There is nothing.
At some point during the GNU, the Minister of Finance was saying diamond revenue is not coming to treasury.
Precisely because
they said his opposition.
Then, fiscal activities.
The former Minister of Finance from the ruling party also said, no, we are not getting revenue from diamond.
You get the point.
So someone was running a parallel government.
Precisely. You get the point. Look at what's happening right now to Molokele.
Yeah.
It's continuous extraction.
The Christmas Pass area.
Christmas Pass is going to be something of the past.
Yeah, that's true.
But they're going to go under that mountain.
And they're
going to extract.
And there'll be nothing to show for.
And what will they be doing after they extract gold and diamond in that part of the country? They're not going to build schools. The government says we are in deficit of 2,000 schools.
Yeah, that's what they said at the seminar.
You get the point.
The committee on
that's what the government said. Yeah. They say we're in the deficit of 2,000 schools.
And I think it's more than that.
but what do these entrepreneurs and korkozas do when they extract diamond, when they extract gold, which is all over our country? What do? They go and hire Mayweather to just come and wave with people, and then they pay him 1 million. So you can see our difference with China. You can see our difference with
Singapore, you see, Japan, your Asian type.
On top of our resources, the advantage we have, we're not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
The wheel is already there.
Learning by doing.
Unlike Japan.
Yeah.
Unlike Singapore.
Unlike
Japan.
The atomic bomb.
They do first deal with the wheel.
Yeah.
We're not reinventing the wheel.
It's just a matter of coping.
It's us adapting an attitude of development as discovered.
Development is discovered. Thank you very much, Comrade Dosalos, for your time. So, in the interest of time, we will end here at the point of development is discovered. We have to discover and develop. And the world now, I mean, we can sign good deals and negotiate for better so that we industrialize the motherland. When we speak some from the ruling establishment, think that we're just criticizing. But we have proffered solutions.
Yes.
And the solutions lie in dealing with the debt crisis. Solutions lie in living away economic propaganda and telling the truth. America Cabral says, tell no lies.
Claim no easy
victories, you see. So we need to be honest with ourselves, sit down as a people. We need to have free, fair, and regular elections.
Precisely.
The next episode will focus on the politics. Today we didn't focus on the politics. The next episode will focus on the politics of the motherland. Today it was on the economy. Thank you very much, Comrade Dosalos, for your sharp and incisive analysis on.
The former finance minister and a senior opposition politician Tendai Biti has sensationally claimed that the regime wants to plant arms of law at his law chambers and residence. Biti said cars suspected to be of state agents have been frequenting an area near his law offices in Milton Park since last week. He said he is being stalked by state agents for opposing the 2030 agenda. Biti has since launched an organization called Constitution Defense Forum to mobilize masses against the 2030 agenda. Former Mount Pleasant legislator Fatai Mahere has asked the police why ZANU-PF Central Committee member Kudakwashi Takwire is not being arrested for contravening the Road Traffic Act. Mahere said despite the police having launched a pleas against individual motorists moving with unregistered vehicles, Takwire is allowed to move in motorcade with unregistered plates. She said there seems to be a law for ZANU-PF officials and another law for the rest of the citizens. A 58-year-old Victoria Falls painter, Christopher Ndlovu, was sentenced to 10 months in prison after admitting to stealing $4,838 that Capes Bank mistakenly deposited into his account. The court held that he withdrew the money over a 2-week period following a clerical error that credited him with $6,435. Prosecutor Douglas Ndini explained that Ndlovu unlawfully took the funds instead of alerting the bank. In mitigation, Ndlovu pleaded for leniency, saying he used the money for pressing domestic needs. Magistrate Tafara Machaya sentenced him to 10 months, with 3 months suspended for 5 years and 7 months suspended on condition he restitutes the bank 4,838 to Caps Bank. In our sports news, in the UEFA Champions League games played last night, Chelsea thrashed 10-man Barcelona 3-0, while Manchester City were shocked 2-0 at home by Bayer Leverkusen. Here are results of the matches played last night. Marseille 2, Newcastle 1, Ajax 0, Benfica 3, Sparta Prague 0, Atletico Bilbao 0, Galatasaray 0, Union St. Gillois 1, Porto 2, Juventus 3, Napoli 2, Karabakh FK 0, Borussia Dortmund 4, Villarreal 0. The UEFA Champions League continues tonight with English Premier League log leaders Arsenal hosting Bayern Munich at the Emirates Stadium. Here are the fixtures penciled for tonight: Buffos versus Monaco, Copenhagen versus Kariat, Olympiacos versus Real Madrid, Sporting Lisbon versus Prague, Eintracht Frankfurt versus Atlanta, Liverpool versus PSV, Atletico Madrid versus Inter Milan, and PSG versus Tottenham. To conclude our Citizens Movement Radio News, here are the headlines once again. Honorable Mlilo concerned about increasing gender-based violence. Zimbabwe needs to reform ZEC and not the constitution, says Timba. Honorable Molokele rallies citizens to oppose the 2030 agenda. This is the end of our bulletin. Good day.